Alright everyone, it is King Atsuki and welcome back. I'm Atsuki and welcome back to another Bang on What If video. And today I actually got an idea. So I went on to YouTube and saw, and I just was thinking about a series that I completed. Not a what if series, I'm talking about like a TV show series. And so then I got an idea. I would search the internet to see that this idea had not been done before. So I thought, why don't I do it? You might be wondering, well, what is this idea? Well, let me tell you. This is what if Naruto was the reincarnation of Lord Garmadon. So, let's get into this bangin' what if, shall we? As we go, and as we begin, as we begin in the Ninjago universe. As it would be the final battle against the Oni. As the ninja would need to use the Tornado of Creation, however, in this timeline, they were all extremely wounded and they could not, they could not hold the weapons without the risk of death. As then Garmadon and Wu got an idea, as they would then slightly, gently nod at each other. As Garmadon would hold the sword of fire and the nunchucks of lightning, as Wu would then hold the shurikens of ice and the scythe of stone. As the two would then do their spinjitzu, Garmadon's spinjitzu would look something like this. As he would begin spinning around. As he right now would be using the power of destruction, or yin. Basically, the negative side of the spectrum of balance. Wu would then be using his power of yang, or the positive side of the spectrum of balance. As the two would begin rotating around each other. As they would begin going so fast that eventually they weren't even in the... eventually they would be going so fast to the point where they did some sort of fusion. Now, the two would then turn into a giant symbol of, basically, they would be in a Shuriken or Sonic the Hedgehog mode as they'd be spinning around each other. As Garmadon would be where the black dragon is, as Wu would be where the white dragon is, as they would be swirling around each other, creating a sort of Shuriken tornado mode. As they would then say, Tornado of Creation, Final Strike, as then the Shuriken mode began pulsing with energy of creation. As then the Shuriken mode would bounce around and circle around the Oni, as it'd be going so fast to the point where it created a ginormous whirlwind or tornado of elemental energy made of creation that was just destroying the Oni, as it was perfectly balanced power which nothing could match. As he would die, and as the two would then die after after destroying the Oni. The two would then die, as Garmadon would be in his old man human state, as he would then be coughing and say, "Well, I guess this is it. Huh? It's been a pleasure knowing you all." As Wu would then say, "It has been my greatest. It has been my greatest choice ever to train you all." As the two would begin spinning, and as the two would then die. Well, it is their physical bodies would die. As then, from what emerged from their two bodies was two invisible dragons, as one would be white, one would be black. As well, the two dragons would circle around each other, creating an amulet that looked like this. as well, the amulet would then teleport to another realm. As around this time, a great battle was happening. But we know this as, I guess, the number 0 Great Ninja War. What I mean by that is, well, pretty much the number 0 Great Ninja War, as Kaguya and her sons would be battling. As they would seal her away like cannon, as they would then just see the amulet and say, "Weird. Maybe it's a sign or a symbol of something." As they would say, "Maybe." As Hagoromo would say, maybe it's powerful or destructive. Maybe it's a seal. As they would then say, "You're right." As they would hide the amulet, thinking that as they would see, it could come apart. As he would then say, as they would then say to each other, if the two pieces are separated, something evil and powerful might come out. As they would keep the two pieces together at all costs. Until one night, this was known as the Nine Tails attack, as Indra and Ashura were looking for reincarnations. While they were exiting the spirit realm, and the realm of the afterlife or the departed, pretty much to go look for reincarnations, and to go to the reincarnations, something unexpected happened. As fires would begin as pretty much the two would be exiting the afterlife, as they would see a old amulet, as they would pick it up. As Ashura would pick it up. Of course, when he was going to Naruto, he kind of dropped the amulet. As he was basically planning to put the amulet in, like, a safe place, like the bowels of hell on his way, so that no one could find the amulet, because he knew that amulets or jewelry like this usually are seals. As well, Ashura would take and would accidentally drop the amulet, as it would then crack and shatter. As then two spirits would rise out. One of them looking sort of like an Oni, or basically, hold on. The first spirit to fly out was that of a dragon, as dragons created the world and had the power of creation. As the second spirit to fly out was an Oni, as the Oni had the power to destroy everything, as they destroyed worlds. As the two spirits would fly out of the amulet, as two spirits would fly out of the amulet, and then they would blitz, and as the two spirits would circle around each other, swirling, looking for, well, reincarnations, pretty much. As the two spirits would then stop and would then circle around and would circle above the Hidden Leaf Village, as well. Kushina was giving birth. And as Kushina was giving birth, and so was Mikoto. As yes, I'm making them born on the same day. Do not judge me for this, okay? After all, I have no clue when Sasuke was born. I have no clue when Naruto was born. So they're both born on the same day, okay? As the two would then go for these hosts. As Wu could see that the boy born with black hair and eyes that could change to red, and would have a terrible life. As the dragon spirit, or as I just said, Wu, would then think that there must be balance in the hearts of their reincarnations. As Wu would fly over to Sasuke. However, well, he would then see Indra about to take Sasuke. As Wu would basically create a warhammer out of thin air. But again, this is invisible and spiritual, so you can't see it or feel what is happening. You can only feel the energy that they're giving off. As when Indra was nearby, Sasuke would cry. Baby Sasuke would cry. However, when Naruto was nearby, baby Sasuke would giggle and be happy. And while Wu was nearby, he would giggle and be happy. As Wu would say, "This is my reincarnation. Your darkness will only corrupt him toward the path of evil, as there must be balance within the hearts of all." As Wu would then fly into Sasuke and to the newborn that is Sasuke, as Sasuke would be born laughing and giggling. As his eyes would then flicker from normal to yellow and white Sharingan, and to yellow and white one-to-moe Sharingans, as so then he would flip back to normal eyes. As the Uchihas would just say, "Is that an inverted Sharingan I just saw?" Absolutely confused. As for Naruto, he would be just a kid. As in, for Naruto, well, Garmadon would be flying yes, Garmadon, or the spirit shaped like a Oni. This spirit, the one at the bottom, the one destroying, would be floating towards Naruto, as he would see Ashura go near Naruto, as he would then think, that's too much positivity that's too much positive, as there must be balance in the hearts of his reincarnation, as he in the heart of his reincarnation, as he thought, sort of like his brother. As Garmadon would then because he doesn't want to destroy Ashura, he would slap him with his hand, as he would say, "This is my reincarnation. You will make him too positive, as there must be balance. Balance in the universe." As Ashura would just say, "What in the?" As Naruto would be born with, well, he would be born sort of darker. He would be born looking normal, with his whiskers and all, as Garmadon would, but he would also be crying and screaming, as Garmadon would then wonder, why in the world does my reincarnation have whiskers? As he would be in sort of the very soul, or main subconscious, the main conscious of Naruto. Except he's very, very, very deep inside. As he would enter Naruto's mindscape and see, and as he would then say, weird, as Garmadon is just pondering why his reincarnation has whiskers, as in the Nine Tails attack would happen, and he would then see Naruto sealed within, and he would see Kurama sealed within Naruto, as he would then say, "Time to hide," as Garmadon would go back to the core of Naruto's soul. As, well, Naruto as we do a time skip of 4 years, as Naruto and Sasuke kinda grew up like brothers. As Fugaku in this, he felt bad for Naruto, and he knew that it isn't his fault, and that he was not the reincarnation of the Nine Tails, as he would adopt Naruto. As Mikoto would be perfectly fine with this, and Itachi would would want to train Naruto, and at least Taijutsu, and all of which they knew, and all of which he knew. As Itachi and Sasuke would grow, and would grow to like Naruto as not a friend, but a brother. However, one problem which they would always swear that Naruto is an Uchiha. And people would always say that Naruto's some sort of Uchiha. He has to be. Because Naruto's eyes would be like normal eyes. Basically, Naruto's eyes would look like a normal person's eyes, except red. I mean, like where the white usually is on your eye, it would be red. As he would then have black where his pupils are, and where his pupils go. Or where the colorful part of his eye is. As well. He would just wonder, is he, as everyone would wonder, is he some sort of Uchiha? As his eyes were black and red. But Naruto was never exhibited any Uchiha abilities. As time came for Naruto and Sasuke to learn and to go to the academy. As, yes, they started going to the academy at the age of 4, and they get their teens at the age of 8. Don't believe me? Look it up. As Naruto and Sasuke would be with each other and would basically, Naruto and Sasuke would be training in fighting, as they were not good with taijutsu, or jutsus for that matter. As Naruto, however, they did have affinities for certain elements, as Sasuke had an affinity for light, as, well, Naruto had an affinity for darkness. As, well, Naruto, right now, well, no one knows of his affinity, not even him. As, wait, I'm going to do something later, okay? As Naruto would pretty much fail. As Sasuke would, as I said, Sasuke does not have chakra. Same as Naruto, they don't have chakra. But he could create clones out of light. Well, not clones, more such warriors. Out of light. As Naruto right now has nothing. As Sasuke would look like this. And as when he handed Sasuke, and as when Iruka handed Sasuke his headband, the part of it that is silver would instantly turn golden. As he'd then say, "What the?" As Sasuke would then say, "Oh, I have a sort of light affinity." As he'd then say, "Oh, okay." As Naruto would walk up, and he couldn't do anything. As Iruka, as he would be failed again and again, as he would want to pass, as Mitsuki would say, I'll pass you if you can get the scroll of sealing and learn some of the jutsus from it, as that's like a secret part of the test. And this is like a secret part of the test. And I'm helping you out. As Naruto would say, "Really?" As he would go, basically try to take the scroll of sealing, as he would steal it. But he could not learn from, as he tried the jutsus, but they were not working, as he said, "Come on!" As he was harnessing everything he had, which really wasn't much. As the Nine Tails just said, "Pathetic, this kid don't got any chakra." He just said this brat doesn't have any chakra. As Naruto, from pressing out, or from basically stressing out, he would then and just use a bit of the chakra, and he would then, well, not do much. As a Mitsuki would appear, and, well, that whole shindig would go to canon. However, when Iruka was hit and bleeding, Naruto would have a completely different reaction. Well, I mean, he would get angry and the Nine Tails would try to take over. As the very second the red chakra appeared, something happened to Naruto. As we go into Naruto's mindscape, as Kurama is, well, giving Naruto chakra, as Kurama is trying to take over Naruto, as something unexpected that Kurama was not expecting happens. As Naruto then, and as something behind him just curls up, as suddenly he sees a sort of black darkness wrapping around him, as he's just like, what in the... As it's restraining his arms, as he's like, let me go! As it's kind of acting like chains, but going around his whole body. As then this black darkness would then wrap around Kurama entirely, as it would then squeeze Kurama. To the point where Kurama would be reshaped. What I mean by that is that Kurama would be pretty much killed. However, the chakra, it still being a life force energy, it would not dissipate or fly away because darkness would have it in its grasp. As the darkness would then begin to morph around, and as the black darkness would then begin to morph around, as it would grow grow to arms, to horns, and, well, pretty much the darkness would become human, or humanoid. Yes, hold on, what in the... As... Sorry about that. As Naruto would begin to, in a way, morph. As darkness in Naruto's mindscape would begin to morph around, as it would become this form, or the form of the Oni. As Garmadon would then say, and as darkness would then begin to speak. Hold on. My God. We're in the blue heavens. Okay, weird. Okay, that's weird and unexpected. As well, Naruto would be pulled into his mindscape as he'd say, "What in the? Where am I?" As he would see a blackening darkness with fangs and horns, as the darkness would then say, "Don't scream, don't talk." "I am not an enemy, but a friend," the darkness would say. Oh God, I see what's happening. They're doing something to the internet. Oh God. Are they cutting the cables? My God. Anywho, Naruto would then say, hey, who are you? What's your name?" As the darkness would then say, "I know that I don't really look like it, but believe it or not, I am you. As in, I am you. As in your mind, a part of you. I'm just something. I just created myself a humanoid form." As Naruto would ask, "What is this thing?" As he would say, "I'm an Oni." Or the darkness. The bringer of doom. Or as your people would call, a Akuma. A demon. A monster. Something evil and unholy to be feared. A yokai. However, where I am from, I am part of a species of godly beings called the Oni, as my brother is called a dragon. Don't worry, he's good. In fact, he reincarnated here as well. Or, I guess you could say your brother. I mean, okay. Through reincarnation, yes, you both are blood brothers. But through blood, you're not brothers. Basically, I'm a, guess you could say, sort of god. And I'm also the reason you have no chakra. As you are my reincarnation, my name is Garmadon. As, believe it or not, kid, I'm probably one of the most powerful beings in this world. Or you are, because you're me, so to speak. As there was a giant, terrifying beast in here that I guess you could say, consumed, and used its life energy to give myself a form. And now that I have done that, I can actually teach you how to harness your powers. Now, this Mitsuki guy out there, trust me, he's easy peasy. As then he said, hey, let me take control for a tiny bit, for a couple of seconds, as, well, as he would then say, okay, as Naruto would say, okay, as we go into the outside of Naruto, as his hair changes color, as these robes just form on him out of darkness. As Mitsuki just says, what the hell? What the hell? This isn't the Nine Tails. As Garmadon says, nope. Nope. This would be all me. As that nine-tailed beast, it was weak compared to me. Well, I have no idea how powerful you are, or how powerful that thing is. It's weak compared to me. But listen here, this kid's my reincarnation, so I'm about to kill, I have to kill you. Do not worry, this should be a painful couple of seconds, as I'm going to pretty much end you. As Garmadon would then say, so, yeah, goodbye. As he would then begin spinning around. Naruto, but Garmadon's in control right now, would then begin spinning around and around and around. As Naruto would say, what in the blazes? As Mitsuki would say, what in the... As he would not be able to speak, as giant blades of darkness would be coming out of the dark purple tornado. As Garmadon would then say, the tornado would then grow and grow and grow, sort of creating a barrier, or a arena. As to anyone else, it would look invisible, but to anyone on the inside, it would look like it's a it's a purple swirling tornado of darkness that just endlessly goes up. As he would then say, what in the... As then, and out of the darkness would appear a face. A face, two faces. One face would be the Omega over here. Another, which would be the Shadow Samurai, and which would be the Stone Warrior with 4 arms. As he would then say, you are about to die. As Naruto, or Garmadon in control of Naruto, would then say, you are about to die. As he then said, Omega, get him. as the Omega would have no choice but to obey, because right now Naruto is weaker than right now Naruto is as strong as Garmadon. But Garmadon, seeing of how he's learning things in this new world, and the Omega can't call upon for help here, he is forced to do Naruto's bidding. As Naruto then says, and as Garmadon in Naruto's body then says, "Da, now, get him." As then the Omega sprouts a couple of giant shadowy tentacles or roots to grab and kill Mitsuki. As Mitsuki is just like, what the hell are you? As the tentacles would be choking Mitsuki, as Garmadon would be walking up to Mitsuki, as he would just be able to summon a sort of outline of a katana out of shadow in his hand, as he would then swipe it at Mitsuki. As before that, he would say, "I'm Garmadon. I am Lord Garmadon." As he would then kill Mitsuki, and then he would dispel the two and dispel the Omega, and then he would also dispel the oh, that's why the power's out. He would then also dispel all of the giant spin ninjutsu vortex. Oh yeah. Okay, as he would then say, "You can have control now. I just killed that guy for you." As Naruto's hair would go back to normal, as his eyes would go back to normal, and his whiskers would reappear. As Iruka would be on the outside, as he just saw. As he would see Naruto and Mitsuki disappear. As he would then just see Naruto there. As Naruto would say, "I got rid of Mitsuki for you. Now let's get you to the hospital." As he would pick up Iruka and bring him to a medical unit, as they would begin healing him. As afterwards, hold on. As afterwards, Iruka would give Naruto a headband. However, when Naruto touched the headband, a purple aura would electrocute it, thus changing the silver to a sort of purplish silver, and the black to a purplish black. As he would then say, "Sorry," as he would tie the headband around his head and say, "Oh, right now it's time to go." as Naruto would leave. Leave as he would be walking home with Sasuke, as they'd be basically walking with each other, talking, as Itachi would be given the task of killing his family, and of killing the Uchihas, as he would then see Naruto, as pretty much he would see Naruto and Sasuke's power and strength, as, well, the only reason he would, in canon, he would kill the Uchihas was in order to make his brother stronger, through the hatred and rage and sadness and emo, to get his brother stronger. As Sasuke would then and say, and as Sasuke and Naruto would be walking over to their clan and to the compound, as, well, Fugaku was thinking of the plan to attack the village, as he would then say, no, I have 3 sons, 2 of them are mine, 1 of them is adopted, I cannot do this. As he would say, maybe in 10 years, maybe never. As Danzo would then, and as the 3rd Hokage would say, as everyone would then say, he did not have to kill the Uchihas, and that Itachi did not have to kill the Uchihas, as pretty much, yeah, no Uchiha massacre, so no emo Sasuke. Because, I mean, seriously, can you just imagine emo Wu? As when they got home, they would see Itachi, as they'd say, Itachi, let's train. As Itachi would train in fighting, as Sasuke would just be thinking of, and would basically, he'd be making his surroundings like a obstacle course. I mean, the entire compound and trees, as he'd be jumping on random objects, hitting random objects. Basically, he'd make his surroundings like a dojo. As Sasuke would eventually, well, awaken or learn the godly power that is known as Spinjitzu. As Sasuke would begin spinning around, as a golden tornado would begin to form. As Itachi would be watching this, as he would then say, holy, is this some sort of new type of jutsu that has to do with, well, wind and light? As he would be wondering, what in the universe was this? And what in the world was this? As Naruto would then say, hey, I can also do that. As he would begin spinning around and create his dark spinjitzu. as the two would then say, cool. And as Sasuke would then say, cool. As Itachi would then go to his dad, or Fugaku, as he would say, Father, there's something strange and new developing about Naruto and Sasuke. As he would then say, go out and observe their training. As Fugaku would go out on a balcony, as he would then see Naruto and Sasuke training, and then they would activate Spinjitzu again. As he would then say, what in the... As... Well, Naruto would then fall over, as he would say, ah! Ah! As he would become as... Well, no, not yet. As they two would walk over and basically 4-year time skip. Oh, sorry, no. Wait. Yeah, I already did the 4-year time skip to the point where Mitsuki attacked Naruto. And yeah, as pretty much Naruto and Sasuke would begin changing their looks, as Sasuke's hair color would become somewhat like Naruto's, as Naruto's would become Garmadon's and would become brown. As Sasuke and Naruto would basically end up going on their first mission. You know, that whole caboodle, as I'm skipping the Zabuza mission, because why the fuck not? As well, two women would be watching in Naruto and Sasuke, but mostly Naruto. Well, one woman would be. As Naruto would hear a voice that was not Garmadon's, as it was not coming from his head, but it was around him. But only he could hear it. Or it only allowed him to hear it. As it was viewing him, as this mysterious being was viewing him. As Naruto and Sasuke beat the mission, as the bridge is called the Yin and Yang Bridge, because, of course, the two use Spinjitzu to take out Gato, and all the others. As when they get back to the village, time for Chunin exams. As I'm skipping the quiz part, which, of course, both of them win, because they know that you have to cheat and be caught. Cheat without being caught. As... My god. Sorry. As Naruto and Sasuke would go into the Forest of Death. As... Well, Naruto would be walking with his brother, as then he would be... As he would then just go into a dark area, as he would go into a separated area to go to the bathroom. However, a snake would bite Naruto on the foot. As Naruto would then say, ah! What in the... as the snake would not be one of Orochimaru's, but instead it would be a remnant of darkness. Pretty much, the snake would then, as soon as it bit Naruto, the snake would then fade away into black ash, as it would destroy itself. As Naruto would then say, "What in the?" As Garmadon would then say, "So it appears here's that the snake has found us. And so it appears that my power has found you." As Naruto then said, But I thought that spinjitzu thing was your power." As Garmadon would then chuckle and say, "No, where I'm from, everyone can do that. Well, with the proper training, of course. It's only that a few people are masters at it, such as me and my brother my brother's students." As pretty much I got my powers over darkness from, well, birth. But just to make sure you didn't destroy the whole planet when you were born, when you were born, I kind of split them apart into the same form of how, well, you see, when I was younger and sparring with my brother, I accidentally knocked back my brother's sword out of reach. As I went past the gate of our house to go get my brother's wooden sword for him, as a snake which was made completely out of darkness, which would be soon known as the Great Devourer, bit me, as it would then inject a sort of dark, ancient, evil venom into my bloodstream. As well, pretty much all that dark power that it bit me with once, I split apart into that snake, as that snake just bit you. Meaning, you might want to sit down. As Naruto said, "Why?" As he would then fall over and begin shaking, as he would then scream, "Ah!" As Garmadon would then say, "That's why." As Naruto's skin would become paler and paler and paler until it became black. As his eyes would become red like fire. As his whiskers would become white and gray. As then Naruto would grow horns. As then Garmadon would use nearby shadows to create a helmet for him and to create clothes for him, as Naruto would then, out of where Naruto's rib cage is, 2 arms would sprout out, as he would then scream, "Ah!" As he then said, "No more, please." As pretty much Naruto would then, and as we skip 1 hour later, as Naruto's team is Team 7 is looking for Naruto. As Team 7 consists out of 3 people, Naruto, Sasuke, and out of 4 people, Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, and a new person known as Hagurama. Yes, female Hagoromo. You heard me right. As Hagurama would hear screaming, as she would go near the screams were, as she would then see her teammate Naruto, as she would then say, Naruto, are you okay? Are you okay? As she would then see Naruto screaming in pain, as she would then rush over to him and see that he had changed completely. As he then said, uh, 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 as then black armor would then begin to form around him. As he would say, what in the name of God is that? As she would then say, what the? Is he the reincarnation of Natsuki or something? As, yes, she has all of her old memories. As she would look through at Naruto's soul and see that he was not the reincarnation of an Otsutsuki or Indra or Ashura. As she said, weird. As she would then just take a glance. As she would then see Naruto. And as she would pretty much then see inside of his soul a darkness. A irreplaceable darkness. As then the darkness would sense her and walk upright to her face or where she was viewing from and say, boo. As she would then gasp as the darkness would then say, do not be afraid. I'm part of Naruto, you see? Or you may call me Lord Garmadon. Or just Garmadon, or the darkness, or the Oni King. All those names are nice. Basically, Naruto is my reincarnation. And he's gaining his power. And he is gaining all of my power and form. As then, Garmadon then said, wait. No. I knew that he'd get my power and forms, but I was not expecting this. As he would then show Naruto's soul and his power. As he would then see a familiar or purple sort of power, and a familiar sort of purple and pinkish power circling around Naruto's soul. And circling around Garmadon's power. As he would then say, crap. Oh well, I guess that it is his power. That snake that bit me was devised of his power, so of course that dark power would also go into the boy. As she would then say, what are you talking about? As he would then say, oh, Naruto is about to get a berserker mode. And a sort of overlord mode. Quite literally overlord. As then black fire would, and as gold, Naruto's armor would turn to gold as his horns and head would become like a black dark fire. As Garmadon would then say, well, it appears that Naruto is becoming a darkness, or a god of darkness, I guess you could say. By the way, are you, Hagurama, was it? Are you the one that's talking to Naruto? I should then say, what? I talk to Naruto all the time. As he would then say, no, I mean telepathically, sort of. As there's some sort of aura always around Naruto. It isn't coming from his mind, but it's speaking to him. Strange, dark, as it's an invisible aura. Can't feel it. It's just there. It's just a creepy voice. Well, not really creepy, but it's a female's. As it's saying all sorts of things, and as it's, for the first couple of days, or weeks, it sounded like random rambling. It just sounded like rambling. However, well, now I'm positive that it is not just random rambling, but instead it's a different language, as we have adapted to understanding, as the woman just says incoherent, intelligent things that are not exactly translatable in mortal tongue. As it kinda sounds like she's been in a room for billions of years all alone, and driven to the point of insanity. And kept awake to the point of insanity. So yeah. I'm guessing that has something to do with it. As they would then say, and she would then say, wait, insanity? Woman's voice? As she would say, excuse me, what type of woman did this sound like? A emotionless woman? As Garmadon would basically then say, no. The woman sounded like a old, frail, and clinically insane woman who is very not mentally stable. As I am beginning to think that whatever this thing is, it wants something to do with Naruto. As Garmadon would then say, oh, okay, you might want to get out of the mindscape and run to the others, because Naruto's about to wake up. As then she would get out of the mindscape, as Naruto would then wake up, but he would wake up in this form. As yes, Naruto has the Overlord's power. As purple veins would course through his black, dark skin. As his eyes would become purple, as he would get giant horns, sharp teeth, and darkness would crowd around him, as he would have golden armor. As he would then say, what the need to destroy? As Naruto, whose horns would then become longer and longer, as he would then get a sort of mindset of a Oni god. Of a Oni god king. As he would then begin saying, destroy, destroy, destroy! As he'd be bouncing around at the speed of light, destroying trees, and the ground around him. As Sasuke would then run over to calm Naruto, as he would then touch, as he would have to fight Naruto, as he would go into as he would use Spinjitzu and touch Naruto, as well, the purple veins in Naruto would then begin to course yellow, as his eyes would begin to course yellow, as so would his cape, or basically all that darkness you see right there. It'd begin to course yellow, as he then said, as Naruto's horns would shrink down, as his as he would then morph back into, and as he would then morph into Garmadon, pretty much. As he would then say, what, what is this pain? As Sasuke would then say, calm down, Naruto, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. As then, well, Naruto would touch Sasuke, as his divine power would, and as his divine power would then awaken, and as Naruto's divine overlord powers would then create a physical form for Wu in Sasuke's mindscape, as Sasuke would be pulled into his mindscape, as he would then see a man that looked like, and that was wearing armor that looked like this. As the man would then say, are you Sasuke Uchiha? As Sasuke would say, yes. Who are you? And why are you in my brain? Where are we? Who are you? As Sasuke would be confused, as Wu would then say, my name is Wu. You are my reincarnation. As, well, I just created myself a sort of form in your mind using divine power, as I'm basically a god. I'm the reason you don't have chakra, but you can manipulate light, as my brother is also the reason why Naruto doesn't have chakra. Okay? However, it appears that Naruto has just awakened my brother's dark power and is transforming into my brother. As my brother originally got his dark power and his darkened demon form from an evil being called the Overlord, as it appears that Naruto is kind of unlocking his Overlord mode, as he will then begin searching for it, as Sasuke would then say, what is it? As Wu would then say, long ago, there was in another world, or my world, my father was a god of creation and destruction, as he met a powerful, evil being known as the Overlord. The Overlord wanted to rule over all, as my father had to fight him to create our world. The Overlord almost won the battle, except my father used his divine power and destroyed the Overlord, but not permanently, as the Overlord always resurrected. However, there is one thing about the Overlord. You see, one which my father hid from everyone, except me and my brother, of course. The Overlord had a blade, a weapon of darkness, one which, if used properly, could destroy entire worlds. It was called the Dark Star Saber, as it was black and purple, as it was literally made out of, as its blade was literally made out of crystallized dark energy, as it literally has the power of a god. Your mission is to, you have to sort of, now I'm pretty sure that, well, his overlord genes will eventually form, as he will look for the blade. As the blade is also a sort of seal, as then Sasuke would say. Seal? What type of seal? As Naruto would then say, you see, and as Wu would then say, without that blade, Naruto will begin to undergo terrifying changes and transform into a terrifying, demonic dragon overlord god thing. You don't want that, do you? As Sasuke would then say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. As he would then say, good. If that sword is found and brought to him, if my brother finds that, if Naruto finds that sword, he can prevent turning into a god thing, as all that power will be stored with, as all that demonic god power will be stored within the blade. However, that also has risks. Just watch over Naruto and try not to anger him. As he then said, we already don't anger him because of the Nine Tails. As Wu would then say, my brother Garmadon has already taken care of the Nine Tails inside of Naruto's mindscape. I'm pretty sure of it. As he then said, Garmadon? As he then said, oh, my brother. Garmadon is basically a god, same as me. Well, he has 4 arms, black skin, horns, red fiery eyes, and he has that purple and dark spinjitzu, as he is a Oni. He has the power of destruction. As I am a dragon, as I have the power of creation. This is only a human form, as my brother is only in this human form. But if we were to want to be out of our human forms, we absolutely could. As Wu would then say, now, I'm going to sort of train you in my godly power. As Wu would then transform into a dragon that looks like this. Do not mind that Wu is on the dragon's back, okay? Just do not mind that. As Wu would then say, as you can see, I am a dragon. As he would then say, I have also trained some of the greatest warriors of all history, or the legendary ninja. Or in my world, they're basically god, or demigods. As Wu then said, now I'm going to sort of give you this form and add it to your humanoid body. As, well, the blue eye, as Sasuke's eyes would become blue, as the golden armor and horns would form and all that. As then Garmadon would say, oh great, my brother he's activated his reincarnation abilities. How wonderful. As he said this, obviously with a sarcastic look on his face. As then, well, Naruto would ask, what exactly is the story of the Onion Dragon? As Garmadon would then say, allow me to tell you. Allow me to summon someone who can tell you the story a bit better than I. As he would then summon forth a woman who was old and from his realm. As he would then say, Mitsuki, please tell him the story. As she would begin to speak. As he would say, well, this. As he would then say, those. As then Garmadon would say, one of those two sons was slightly better looking than the other. As he would say, moi. As Mitsuki would then say, oh, shut up, your brother was was way handsomer than you when you were little. As he would then say, not true. As she would say, totally true. As she would begin continuing. As he said, hey, it's not evil, it's just destructive. As she would say, stop interrupting, please. As she would then say, Wu, or Garmadon's brother Wu, had the power of the dragon. As Wu would train 5 masters, 5 students, 5 who could command the elements. As Lord Garmadon would then say, 4 of them were my brother's students, and 1 of them was my son, or his nephew. As then I was brought back, and as my son would calm me down, and I would turn to a human state. However, well. However, of course, from me going evil in the first place, I kind of created 3 powerful masks using my own blood, or the Oni masks. As they have, as basically They have three negative emotions, or three powers. As he would then say, allow me to show you what the four or powers look like.